We're going to start with a short sit. So making sure the body is well taken care of, that it's going to support your intention in the meditation and not distract from it. And as you settle, checking, am I present? Am I aware? Am I in touch with some degree of kindness, benevolence? each morning I've sat or stood here face to face with Bhante Sangharakshita, and his gaze is slightly lifted, and that was such an encouragement to me. And if I forgot that for a moment, I only needed to gaze into this bell, this bowl. There's the face of a demon there. So if at any time the judging, critical, self-absorbed voice came in, nag, 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 I just had to have a little glance. Okay. So I felt held. And that brings me on to the fourth factor of Vasubandhu. And this is contemplating the virtues of the Tathagathas. Not just the ethical virtues, but also the qualities of the Tathagathas. And it's a bit like there's been this arch from the beginning of just 4 days. To me, it's been a journey of practice. It could have been 4 weeks. There's been this arch from the first factor of recollection of the Buddhas. And we've been on this journey into the depths of our hearts and minds, of understanding, of committing, of dedicating ourselves, finding some response. And now we come to this fourth factor. And I was recently in Akashvana talking to a Prajnaparamita practitioner about the Prajnaparamita practice. And we were talking about her mudra. And now I have to put the mic down because I need both hands. And one thing she said just really struck me. And it did this, it turned my mind to the qualities, to the virtues of the Tathagathas. And she was telling me about how she'd explain it in very simple language. This is how life is. So here are the lakshanas, here are the imperfections. She also included the fourth lakshana that Bhante talks about, of beauty regarding Shubha and Ashubha. And then, so this is how life is. This is what we're up against. And then, here is what we need to do. And what we need to do is what she was talking about, practicing the doors to liberation, the vimokshas, which can be set directly against these 4 lakshanas, the 4 vimokshas, including the path of beauty. And it could be the qualities of the Tathagathas. There could be a lot that we include in the gesture. This is the answer. Here is the answer, which we bring to our hearts. So I'm going to talk about the qualities, the virtues of the Tathagathas as a door to liberation, you could say. And we're not admiring these from a distance. Our aim is to embody them. And they could be the Brahma Viharas. Benevolence, kindness, joy, compassion, equanimity. They could be the 6 paramitas. Dana, Shila, Virya, Kshanti, Samadhi, Prajna. They could be any of the, or more of the 11 positive mental events. We've spent time with faith this week, the importance of faith. And then another way of contemplating the virtues, the qualities of the Tathagatas, is by looking at their example. How did they live? And this needs to be translated into our lives. So what does that mean for me? How could that show up in my life? And then there is beauty and joy, not only in ourselves, but seeing it in others. And a gathering like this is an opportunity for that. I think what we need, what is required here, are qualities, the practice of receptivity. Are we receptive? How receptive are we? Is there real interest, real curiosity to learn more? Can we ask ourselves, what do I revere and rely upon? What is my point of reference for growth? Really, this is just a lot of questions, a lot of doorways into this fourth contemplation. Am I allowing the dye of these qualities to colour my heart and mind? And are we steeping ourselves in these qualities, the virtues they embody, so that we may embody them? I think in order to do that, we need to marinate in them. Do you know this word? To marinate. You put the tofu in the soy sauce and it marinates, it soaks it up. So it's about soaking up these qualities, dwelling, staying a long time, and repeatedly following the example of the Buddhas. What the Buddha overcame, we too can overcome. What the Buddha attained, we too can attain. It's simple, really. Do we take it to heart? And of course, we stumble along the way. We fall short of our ideals, of our aspiration. We let ourselves down, we let our spiritual friends down, but we just keep practicing. And we have the tools. We just keep asking, what is there for me to learn here when I do stumble, when I do let myself and others down? And there are practices or areas of practice, like the 3 levels of wisdom. There is always, we can always go deeper. There are devotional practices. The heart must be nourished. Yesterday, it was a long day for me. It was a very important day for me. And after the evening, I went to my room refreshed. I really felt refreshed, that's the only word. Refreshed, deeply content. So thank you both for last night's evening. Sangha is another way, another entry into this reflection. Of course, the true Sangha is the Arya Sangha. But we are a community of practitioners, of Dharma-farers, aspiring to become a true Sangha. Not only supporting one another, but learning, being willing to learn from one another by exemplification, by letting practice rub off on one another. Yesterday afternoon I was at the fishbowl, which was a conversation that started off about this quote from Tennyson, actually, the poet Tennyson, painless sympathy with pain. This is what we explored in this format of a circle of people sitting round, holding a space, holding silence, and then 3 people in the middle having a conversation about this, exploring it. And you could change, you could go in and out as you felt you wanted to engage. And what really touched me was the quality of this practice, how present we were with one another. Interest, it mattered to listen to one another and not to come into the circle to just with my agenda and my opinion. And to see something change when people had an exchange, had something approaching a real conversation. And there was beauty in this. There was a beauty in meeting and holding tender experiences when people talked about deep emotional difficulties. And this for me was an example of how we as an order can be together, practicing the qualities of the Tathagathas. So we aspire to study, to practice, I would say to follow and to realize these virtues, these qualities, to bring them into the world. In an introduction to one of the bodhicitta lead-throughs, Subhuti said, "The only way we can face all the suffering in the world is by contributing to ending it." This requires the compassionate response or altruistic wisdom that is born from the virtues, the qualities of the Tathagathas. So the reflections. Firstly, I'd like to suggest that you call to mind qualities you know are your strengths. You might reflect on your name. Do you nurture these qualities? What I mean by the word nurture is, do you continually discover more, refine, deepen, and live these strengths and qualities? Secondly, which qualities could you pay more attention to? I know we shouldn't say should, but maybe you should pay more attention to. Which would deepen, enliven, bring an edge to your practice? The bottom line of these two reflections is, how is your spiritual potential challenged and stretched? How is my spiritual potential challenged and stretched? Ten past 11. I would like to start the bodhicitta practice at 10 to start. So if you could be back at 1:45, that would be very relaxing for all of us.